Welcome to another episode of Full Circle with me, Onyx. And let's kind of continue with unpacking our baggage, recognizing that we are programmed. How do we unprogram ourselves? Is basically the only real task you have to do in life is to shed, to rebirth yourself, to evolve, to grow up. And so it's put out there, repackaged and sold in different ways. You know, how do you heal? How do you raise your vibration? How do you clear your energy? How do you psychic protect yourself? How do you consciously expand and evolve and become enlightened? Whatever goal, whatever you want to do in life, we get to a point where who we are, the way we're functioning in the world isn't getting us to where we want to go. Then we feel stuck, we feel trapped. So for some people, it's their relationships. It's maybe how to communicate with their partner or loved ones. It's how do I get my kids to understand me and not stop hating me? How do I get that promotion? So from whatever it is that you want in life, it could be very basic. I wish I had the courage to remodel my own house myself, or go to the. So everyone is at having different challenges being presented, but we find in the end they're all the same, and we find what's blocking you is all the same. So whether it's writer's block, or how do I earn more money, or how do I open up my third eye, we find out you are the problem. Period. You versus I. The I am. The infinite one. Unlimited one. The fresh one. The real one. The present one. Consciousness itself. The witness. The observer. That detached you. The all-penetrating God force. That is you. Unbound, unscripted, ever present, the eternal you. Or we should say, the one, versus this manufactured, constructed you, built up of your history, built up of your story and the narratives that were forced down your throat as education, religion, science, technology, what everyone else's agenda is. You know, man going to Mars, man going to the moon. We were always going somewhere, long as it was off planet, that was salvation. And if it wasn't that practical, we had impractical, up and out and off planet, heaven, in light, Shambhala, um, some ascended realm, and now we have fifth dimension and some other way out there. When we put the goal, when we put our happiness, when we put our bliss outside of ourselves, could be a mentor, a movie star, a career, a parent, an organization, we find we abandon ourselves, we ignore ourselves, we sell out. The last thing we want to admit is we are wrong. When we are wrong in this type of system, we assume there's a punishment. They're going to leave me. I'm going to lose security. I'm going to be publicly humiliated and shamed. I'm going to find out it's true. I am not attractive. I'm going to find out it's true. I'm not important, that I'm forgettable, that I don't mean anything. Wah, 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 right? Or we have already subscribed to some morality code, some justice system, and we silently beat ourselves up. Oh, I'm wrong. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. And then we talk down to ourselves, we shame ourselves, we abuse ourselves behind closed doors. We mutter horrible things to ourselves all day long, being a critic, criticizing, judging, shaming, blaming, beating ourselves up far more than our parents would or could. So, what we experience internally is way different externally. How we respond internally looks way different than how we react externally. So everyone internally has an image of themselves. They see themselves a certain way, thinking, some of us, that it's not influencing others outside of ourselves. But it is. And it's not, but it is. And then we were groomed to put on a mask. We didn't exactly want to put it on, but they've been putting it on ever since you were born. Giving you a name, telling you you're a good girl or a bad boy, already creating this polarity, this binary coded programming onto you. Oh, you can't like blue, you have to like pink. Good girls cross their legs, only talk when spoken to. Boys go out and play. Boys don't cook, sew, or clean, or want to raise kids. Boys need to want to work and go to war and fight each other. Boys don't have feelings, girls do. Girls are emotional, boys aren't. So do you see how early on this programming is installed into you? You, the I, is a blank page full of possibilities. Anything could happen, but people kind of were choosing for you, assuming you don't think for yourself, assuming you're not an individual. So if we really want to get to the heart of therapy, if we really want to get to the heart of rapid transformation, kind of going back to the beginning of the story and a little bit before the story, a fresh, clean sheet of paper. And now, from this perspective, you are kind of detached. So it's really hard. We're going to kind of digress a little bit. It's hard to change with the same mind. Because you can't. If you're in a victim mindset, the victim can never get themselves out. The martyr can never get themselves out. Okay? You can't do it. That is a state of consciousness. That is a frequency. That is a vibration. So they go, no, I got out of that. I say, slow down, look carefully. Were you in that state of mind to get out? No. You did something different. You went on a walk, you thought about it, you changed your frequency. You adjusted your vibration to see the same content from a different perspective, and you found solutions. Sometimes even your higher mind can step in. There's breaks in consciousness, there's breaks in the story. We have, you know, indentation for a new paragraph. We have a space. We have periods at the end of sentences. There's spaces between letters and words. In these spaces, you download, you pause, and higher source energy, intuition drops in these moments. So that's kind of happening behind the scenes. So, but when we acknowledge it and bring it forward, we go, wow, there's power there. If I can pause, when I have to turn the page called my life, when all these thoughts are moving through my head, there's breaks, there's pauses. I can only take so much. There's a pause. So the system wears out. We have breakdowns. We get tired. We only take in so many bits of information. We can only retain so many bits of information. So in a really weird way, this wear down, this breaking, this pausing actually then opens up the door for higher consciousness to pour on in and actually fill in the blanks with the truth. So, but oh no, we don't want to do that. So we distract ourselves into the programming. I love the phrase balls deep because I just think about someone who is like eating cake and they're so addicted to it. They're emotionally and mentally addicted to it. The addiction is actually a form of escape. Okay. So they're so in, that is their only release. That is their only escape, is that piece of cake or that TV show or that other person. Obsession, with the props and the mirrors and all the stage, the world stage, everything that this world has to offer. But, so that was kind of definitely a digression. But it's that same escape, that same belief that this thing is going to provide relief, going to provide happiness, it's going to fulfill you. But it's empty. It's made out of refined flour, refined sugars. It's a mixture of things, and it's reformed and shaped and baked in the oven. It's frosted to look cool, and you eat it because you believe it's going to satisfy, fill the void and the emptiness inside of us. And it's also going to distract us from everything we've been ignoring, the truth. And we're going to feel alive. We're going to feel valid. In that moment, we're going to say, I found happiness. I found meaning. I found purpose. I found something. What a relief. And that's what addiction really kind of is, but we're using cake as that metaphor. But you could actually use your identity. Why do we get into drama? Why do we get hooked into fighting / defending? All this stuff. Our life basically is like being trapped in an idea. So idealism, ideas, this is what it's all about. Your psychological prison. Onyx, where are we going? It sounds a little confusing, but it's not. There's just a lot of parts and pieces. We have to put all these puzzle pieces on the table and then kind of start to organize them into a meaningful pattern. Kind of that's kind of how this conversation is going. But here we are. And we are basically possessed by all this programming. Some people call it the ego, the false self, the mask, social conditioning. It's all of this. And you can't really totally dismantle it hitting it from one side. It's the ego, and the ego is bad. It's all the fakeness and falseness, and everyone's wearing a mask. It's all the system and the conditioning and the programming. It's all your story and your history. It's all you being overly involved in other people's lives and trying to get your needs met through other people that aren't available. It's all your toxicity and your emotional wounding and your baggage, aka triggers, and all those repressed feelings that cause you to explode and harm others with your woundedness. It's all your addictions and your repetition and your hypnosis and your checking out and your entertainment and your avoidance of pain and the truth and all the patterns that help you maintain your identity, your sense of I in your world because you're so afraid. Well, guess what? It's all those things all at once. That's kind of a lot. So, no wonder why people give up. No wonder why people. So, a lot of people have given up, but they don't want to admit it to others. They don't want to admit it to themselves. So, it looks like chronic depression. A lot of people have been defeated by this box, okay, that has 6 sides, that's hitting you 6 different ways all the time. And it compounds because this box affects you internally, but then it can also affect you externally. Your inner world can become a beat up ground, and your external world can become a beat up ground. So, besides you taking on that glorious mantle, that duty to criticize, shame, and beat yourself up, the box is already doing it. The programming, the system, all the sheeple out there with all their nice, sweet masks on are really sinking in their teeth into you, beating you up, pushing you, henpacking you, shit testing you all day long, blaming you, projecting all their woundedness onto you. So, no wonder why people give up so early in life. Conform, sell out, buy into, believe, trust others, and not themselves. No wonder why they can't connect to their truth. They have a midlife crisis. Do you think after 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 45, 50 years of this war going on internally, externally, globally, all this pressure, all this drama, no wonder why people give up. No wonder why people use substances to self-medicate. No wonder why people are going to therapy. So let's kind of take a sobering look at your situation. It is not fully your fault. It's not anyone's fault, okay? Let's start there. And let's look for solutions. Playing the victim, playing the martyr, sucking off of others, being a freeloader, being codependent isn't going to work. Okay? What is going to work is being authentic. That's a big blanket statement. Wow. Try being authentic when you were never given a chance to be authentic. When anything real about you was judged, criticized, shamed, bleached out, modified, surgically removed, frowned upon, targeted viciously by this programming and all the people who are possessed by the programming for a moment, for a lifetime, for generations after generations. Being authentic, taking the mask off, finding your purpose, finding your bliss, finding your joy, being natural, giving yourself permission. That's a really big order. And so we're looking at something very simple, learning to be ourselves without shaming, blaming, criticizing, and especially fearing retaliation, humiliation, punishment, and abuse. Wow. One task, and you're going to obliterate all 6 sides of this matrix cube. You know, you're going to rebirth. And it's going to take you to where you want to go. So, in such a hostile matrix that's designed to basically dim your light and to convince you to be afraid to shine, you know, kind of lost my train of thought there. Oh, could you imagine how scary that is? It's not, fear is obviously false evidence appearing real. Could you imagine how threatened you might feel? So we block ourselves in self-sabotaging behaviors. Sometimes it looks like staying broken. Sometimes it looks like comparing yourself to things that are way out of your league, so you always stay down. Sometimes it looks like controlling your environment. So we have a lot of strategies to keep ourselves down, holding on to history, playing the martyr and the victim, the obsessive need to blame others, the obsessive need to feel like you are worthless, broken, can't defend yourself, can't own your energy, can't do anything for you, codependent. All not true. So we have a lot of beliefs, a lot of stories, a lot of conditioning and behaviors that need to be challenged, that need to be seen, that need to be broken down. It's not exactly an easy task, but it can be. So for some of you, you might have to only look once. Some of you maybe have already woken up during this conversation. Others might have to go a few rounds. You really believe your past exists now. Others believe other people are somehow more powerful or special than you. Not true. So, processing your baggage is holding you back. And now that you know it's just baggage, and it doesn't matter who you are, so you're not so special. It's not just happening to you, it's happening to everyone. Their stories look different, their pain is equal to yours. So the victim and the martyr think their sacrifices, their suffering was so personal and so special. It's a really hard transformation for them. They're so unique. It's actually narcissistic. It's actually full of ego. It just looks different, It's a better cover up. So we're battling an ego that is full of pride, that insists that it's right, that insists that others are wrong. That's a huge barrier to processing your baggage. Knowing that you have a prideful, arrogant, attention-seeking ego structure built into you, utilizing the matrix to get what it wants, thinking that's the way it's going to work, No, just know that can delay the process of your realization that you really don't have limits and you have been imposing these limitations upon yourself. You have been agreeing. The world may have offered you an idea, a mother figure, a teacher, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a lover, a child, a system, an authority figure with a gun at your head could have offered you a limiting idea about the world. And you had a choice to agree or disagree, to sell out and consume it, to be hypnotized. You can't be hypnotized unless you agree. That is a universal fact of hypnotism. So the systems in all their media manipulations, it doesn't work unless you agree. There is no subliminal subconscious programming going on. If you're unaware of it and you don't understand what it is, then that program doesn't work. That format doesn't fit. You have to understand what's being asked. And then you have to agree. If you don't understand and you don't agree, the input doesn't go in. If you're dyslexic, you're not programmable. That's why you're public enemy, used to be public enemy number one. Turns out you're going to save the world. Anyways, neurodivergent people are not programmable. So we labeled them as retarded. We labeled them as stupid. Creative people aren't programmable. They're connected to source. We labeled them as useless and idealistic and dreamers, not living in reality. They're going to save the world. So certainly you must be neurodivergent at this point. Certainly you must be creative. Certainly there's a free spirit in you, a rebel, a revolutionary. Certainly there is someone connected to source in you, an inner hero, a spark of light that can never die. Tap into it and watch the illusion fade. So it can be really simple. It doesn't have to be 30 years in meditation. It doesn't have to be a lot of breath work. It doesn't have to be sitting at a guru's feet. It can be actually sudden. And it doesn't have to be a lot. Everyone is unique. A little bit of truth goes a long ways. But if you're feeling triggered, if you're feeling threatened, if you're angry at people and you don't know why, if you can't stand other people, if the world mirror is reflecting back to you things you don't like and don't prefer and you're having reactions, it's letting you know there's material baggage to throw away. It's a gift. If inside you're judging, shaming, and harming yourself, it's letting you know you have a lot of baggage, programming that needs to go so you can be your authentic self. If you're getting caught into drama with friends, family, coworkers, and loved ones, it's letting you know you have a lot of baggage you're carrying. That's not you. YOU. That's just baggage you're carrying. It's history. It's programming. It's all outdated. It's all irrelevant. Throw it away. Look at your patterns. Look at your rituals, your daily routine, your lifestyle. It's all probably to support baggage. If there is no change and so a lot of people are just trying to maintain. That's all baggage. Stop maintaining a lifestyle of baggage. Stop maintaining an identity of baggage. The old version of you has problems. The new version of you is a blank page. It's that simple. Yet, of course, it takes a while to process that. For some people, They will get what I'm saying and flush the toilet. Other people are going to want to pick through it, find out what brand of toilet paper they're using, find out what they ate for the last 3 months, have a colonic, uh, do research on the internet, and they're going to then slowly flush the toilet. We have the world programs you backwards and inside out. And you have convinced yourself that being free, being happy, following your bliss and joy are somehow not the right decisions. They're not reasonable. They're not logic. They're not correct. That wasn't the smartest thing to do. It's going to come back and bite you. You're going to lose something for being yourself. Look at that programming. Don't get stuck on who told it to you. You accepted it. There is no justification here if you want to hurry and flush that toilet. So, while you're ignoring your baggage, feeling triggered, lashing out, feeling unhappy, so if you're not spending the majority of your day in happiness, you got work to do. Okay? And I'm not talking about, ice cream and cake happiness. I'm talking about just feeling good throughout the day. There's enough, there's baggage to flush. There has to be a quick way to do it. You want to spend your whole life removing baggage? Do you really want your whole life to just be a throw up session, going to the toilet and throwing up and then flushing? Yes, we got to purge. There will probably be a few seasons where it just seems like endless purging, but it doesn't have to be. Get to the root of it. Get to the belief. Underneath that belief, there's probably one belief. And I'm not worthy is too general. It's very specific. One simple belief. We've probably already said it, that there's a consequence for being awesome. You're going to lose what you love for being love. How ridiculous is that? So if everything is programmed backwards, paradoxically, be love to receive love. Feel self-worth and watch your finances go up. Watch you secure a job. Watch you be praised. So it's belief work. It's not diving into our emotions and diving into our history and the stories.